So I would like to introduce yourself. Okay, so Dr. Bakker holds a PhD in Business and Management from the University of Southern Queensland in Australia. His expertise encompasses business development, marketing, sales, public relations, customer service, and executive management. Currently, he serves as a unit coordinator and lecturer at the Australian Institute of Higher Education and the Victorian Institute of Technology in Melbourne, where he incorporates global perspectives into his curriculum. Dr. Bakker academic career includes positions as a lecturer at the University of East London in the UK and as an academic instructor at UNICAF University in Cyprus, as well as that at the University of Suffolk and Liverpool John Moores University in the UK. He has established a strong international presence in education. In addition to his academic contributions, Dr. Bakker has substantial industry experience. He previously held positions such as the Chief Executive Officer of Arabian Explorers Destination Management in the Middle East and North Africa and the General Manager at Transnow Travel and Business Development Director at Cosmo Petra in the Middle East. He's fluent in English, French, and Arabic. Dr. Bakker effectively engages with diverse student populations. His dedication to student success is evident in the positive testimonials that highlight his supportive teaching style through his research. He addresses contemporary challenges focusing on university social responsibility, cooperation in social responsibility, and customer relationship management, particularly in relation to the experiences of international students.
Thank you so much, Christiana. I already shared my screen, so not that much to add on what you. Thank you for your kind introduction. So I'm going to share my screen to start the seminar now. So today we are going to have an introduction to Nvivo. Actually, it is just a simple introduction about some useful implications and application we can have through the Nvivo. Although Nvivo is an amazing qualitative software to analyze the data, unfortunately, we won't be able to cover all kinds of implications to Nvivo in one seminar. So we will have a practical introduction, very convenient to many of our doctoral students at the UNICAF University and the University of East London as well. So this is my biography. Christiana has kindly sharing, so you can have direct access to my archive link at any stage to access my own publication. And you can have much more details about my academic and professional background in details. You can have access to some of the conferences I have been made in Turkey and some of the live seminars as well I have been done with the University of Southern Queensland and some of the UNICAF presentation and seminars as well. We are going to cover I'm going to try to catch up as soon as possible to cover all the topics I planned to be covering during the seminar of today. So we are going to understand what is the role for Nvivo in qualitative research. Last seminar 14, I was talking about the concept maps and coding in qualitative research. I'm going to have a quick introduction in a live demo part, which I'm going to consider in the second half of my presentation. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and then I'm going to have the live version of Nvivo software so I can show you how we can implement the basic understanding of Nvivo. Also, we are going to identify the type of the data that can be imported in Nvivo, into Nvivo, including standard files, Word, Excel, spreadsheets, SPSS. I'm not going to cover SPSS today, but I'm going to give you the basic understanding to avoid any complexity to feel in the Nvivo very smooth qualitative software. So I'm just going to cover the basic understanding about how you can export an Excel spreadsheet file to Nvivo, how you can export a Word document to Nvivo, how you can link the Excel spreadsheet to make some kind of coding, and how you can export the PDF file as well to go to make some coding nodes and test the links between every all the concept maps you are going to create. Perform basic coding, I'm going to go through as well. And you can run some tests or simple queries and visualization. How you can test the content of some keywords you would like to track and to show that some primary reflections and understanding about the content you would like to analyze. So, first of all, what is Nvivo? Nvivo is one of the software. It is unfortunately a paid software. So Nvivo is one of the company, but you can download. Even I'm going to share the link for the Nvivo open source, not open source website. You can have a free demo for 14 days. You can access free of charge. So you can go back and forth, practice, have some kind of implications, discovery. You can explore. You can even connect with the customer support if you do have any troubles to implement any techniques in your analysis. And I believe in some of the universities, you might have a support for Nvivo as well. Through your university, you may download free of charge without having to pay some additional fees for the software. It depends on your university contracts and how broad is the software available at your place. Nvivo actually it's going to help you organize and manage any unstructured data, such as what? Such you can have an interview. So you can have an interview script. You can have some sample of any interview or focus group you are having. You are making your notes. You have already made survey or focus group. So you have some data. You make some personal notes, some personal analysis or observations you are having. So all these kind of qualitative data you would like to integrate. Even if I'm talking about the surveys, so it can be both parts of numerical or quantitative data and the qualitative data. How can it work? Both the close questions with some of the multiple choice of Likert scale, so it could be converted automatically by the SPSS software to a numeric number, and you can extract and convert in a CSV Excel spreadsheet file, and you can import to the Nvivo. You can analyze. So both of them you can extract. You can work through some kind of open-end surveys or questions with unlimited brainstorming just to discover and explore some keywords linked to your research questions. So the key point is how you can draft your research questions to be aligned with the interviews scripts, focus groups, open-ended survey, and you will build in your academic database sources and websites build on all the focus point of your research question, which I have been covered in depth in seminar number 14 about the coding and in qualitative research. So now we are going to show how we can implement some coding through the outputs. So expect based on the last seminar, we have already made some interviews. We have proceeded to create focus group, and we submitted some surveys, including some part of quantitative data and another part of qualitative data built in open-ended survey or questions. And we have been also extracting and searching for some articles and reports through scholarly academic database. And we have some files in a specific folder relating to your research, and you need to analyze. So we have all this in a way of unstructured data. You have a good data, but you would like to have links and interlinks about what you explored, and then you can proceed to the next stage of analyzing this data, construct and draft some diagram and charts, and then you have also the flexibility to edit, add, remove, change the structure as per the output of each phase you are going to have. So coding, you are going to code and categorize into different topics or category or groups. And you can have some subgroups as well. So you can search what are the keywords across large database easily and visualize the data. So simply, the qualitative data analysis, or QDA, is the software designed by Nvivo to help you proceed with any qualitative data in a very effective way. Is that only qualitative data? You can even merge both SPSS and Nvivo in one software instead of going to SPSS and have some too much content to extract and analyze manually. So you can just, on top of the good advantage and features integrated in the SPSS software for IBM, which is super convenient for the quantitative data, once you will have a good outcome, you can also extract the information built in SPSS as per your inputs and link to the Nvivo to have one consistent report, even by integrating an advanced technique that you can even extract some information from the internet. So first step we are going to have. So why we need to use Nvivo? We do have other qualitative softwares as well, but today we are going just to cover Nvivo, which is the most aggregated source and transparent and having high quality of qualitative data analysis. So manual coding, if you are proceeding just for the manual coding, it is a time consuming. Last seminar, I remember I was covering that you can use the advanced analysis of the Excel spreadsheets to do manual coding analysis of your numeric data or quantitative data. However, it needs a good expertise to proceed for this advanced analysis through the Excel sheet. It needs a lot of manual coding, it's time consuming, and it is having high risk to manual errors. If you have any error in functions or advanced functions you are going to integrate to have some charts, chi-square, all kind of diagrams you need to export. If you don't have good expertise on how to implement this, you are expected to have some errors about lack of integration the appropriate function in the right cell into your sheet. So Nvivo improves actually the efficiency and transparency and rigor of your research, because it is all automated, but it must have, you must have a basic understanding about the Nvivo implication, and you must run some tests, at least at the beginning stage of practicing. From time to time, you must run tests to show that this information is aligned with what you need to do. So what I'm going to share today, I didn't share a real paper about a real research I was doing, but however, I was doing just extracting a simple example as a basic example showing some demographic classification or assessment for qualitative research, and I need to link to some content, and I have been linked also one full chapter in my PhD to track the the frequency of some of the keywords like quality, customer satisfaction, student satisfaction, liminality, marginalization, etc. So I would like to have how we can create, how we can import the files, how we can make the coding. So I'm not going to cover sentiments, relationship type. So it's a different advanced level we are going to have, but the basic understanding how to import the file classification and how we can make case study imported here, how we can create the codes, and how we can run tests between the cases we are going to create and the code we are implementing. Based on what? Based on the file we have been imported and based on some primary file classifications that I have been exported in Excel spreadsheet. And you can implement the same. Doesn't matter that the output will be reasonable for you because the data are not in practice matching. I was doing some random tests to show you how we can proceed. But in reality, you can practice on any random test from your side just to check the credibility and the accuracy of the output, not because the Nvivo efficiency to extract the data, because maybe lack of understanding from any one of us. So we might have human errors. So we want to make sure that these tests we are going to implement on basic understanding, it's working very well before proceeding to upload your data, before proceeding to save and back up your data frequently, not to lose any data, before ignoring some of the technical tools. If you are saving automatically, you may have a risk not being unable to undo any mistakes you are doing. And then we are preparing and make some readiness for ourselves to use Nvivo in our research with high efficiency. So as this slide and image is showing, Nvivo is very convenient to import PDF or documents. We can import images as well, audio, video, spreadsheets, Excel spreadsheets, SPSS, and even though you can integrate and link with your EndNote library to build in the final report you would like to have by the end of your final thesis or research. You can build in reports so you can link some of the academic references you have in the EndNote. The Nvivo is going to detect automatically how many references you have been imported from your library at the EndNote and link to the appropriate content into the files you have been importing. And they build automatically very structured and very accurate report, and all kind of unnecessary or non-related references you have been imported, it will be separated and splitted automatically into a separate folder. This is one of the good features actually EndNote will have, but this implication for both SPSS, audio, video, and EndNote implication, it's some advanced techniques for the Nvivo where we are not going to cover during today's seminar. So the first step, if anyone has a chance to have the Nvivo software, you can even open, and I'll be sharing my live copy for my account very soon. But I have been implementing some of the screenshots that helps everyone to understand how we can proceed as a basic understanding. I have been creating some test file called test with file type and NVP, which is related to any file you are going to export, Word, PDF. It's going to be converted automatically to an extension called the NVP, which is readable by Nvivo. So Nvivo can read those type of file, and any Word, Excel sheet that you are going to have, the Nvivo is going to convert automatically to this extension to read the content of your documents. So you don't need to convert manually. All what you do is to know how you can import. First step, by creating a new project, and let's replace project by new research, your thesis. You can call whatever you need. So it's fully upon your own discretion what selection you are having, but it's inserted, create a new project. You can nominate the new project to match your research. You click on File, and I'm going to show you in practice. You are going to have some screen like this, new project. You fill the project title, and you can browse. You can insert any file if you would like to have. If you don't like to insert any file, so just leave it for now. And I'm going to show you how you can import the files you need to include for the qualitative analysis. If you would like to have some description, short description, just for yourself to remember what is this project. If you do have multiple projects to analyze, you would like to make some short description to remember or to remind yourself. So you can make a short description. This project is for, let's say, from my end, I'm going to analyze some of the errors and pitfalls in the Queensland health payroll system created by IBM. They do have a mega big projects, errors and pitfalls, and project management failure in this project. So I'm going to say Queensland health payroll system, and I'm going to make short description so I understand this project is matching what. So each project, I'm going to link files, I'm going to link some file classifications, I'm going to make some coding, I'm going to create cases, and I'm going finally to link, if needed, some advanced techniques with the SPSS IBM to be able to extract more numeric data and convert in one report, one consistent integrated report through the Nvivo, and it's all done at the end in the final advanced techniques. Does it save time? Even if you are going to consider some good time to training, so never hesitate if you do have any chance to have advanced session for the Nvivo through the library service at your university. So if you do have some open webinars or seminars to enhance your understanding about Nvivo, do never disregard or underestimate the time concern about attending such seminars, because the time you are going to consider, it will be saving tons of times for you once you are proceeding for qualitative research. So qualitative research, it's a lovely journey for people who have a deep critical analysis and a high focus, but however, it's also a big barrier for many people because you want to make sure to test all the time or throughout all the ways that your links and interlinks are working properly. So I was doing and testing this even in one of my MBA research I have been done. So if the outputs are not aligned with a simple random example I was drafting from my side just to have like a small pilot test, I was proceeding. So I was saying something wrong is not working because this shouldn't be or mustn't be the output. Try all the time to keep one of the pilot tests that you are quite sure or you have a high confidence that if the result is not being convenient about some numeric test or some of what qualitative data and draft into any interview script randomly, just to test if you linked properly the files, the coding with the case study you are going to create, if they are not showing reasonable and rational, good rational into your output, so it must be something wrong about using, about the usage from your end. So try all the time before considering too much time and creating some links and interlinks without being sure that you are working properly. because it's a time consuming if you are progressing with your project through the Nvivo and you are not quite sure if you are working properly or not. Much better to consider some good time at the infrastructure of usage for Nvivo rather than to work for months on any research and then discover that you have been billed the whole data inappropriately. So this is very, very critical. And everyone, especially the doctoral students, must consider. I have a high confidence most of the doctoral supervisors have very good experience about supervising their students, and they must provide also some good guidance. However, in some of the learning experience, especially distance and offline experience, it's a bit hard to have a good understanding about the materials. So important next step, once you have been proceeding for the basic of creating your project, your own project, you're going to have some short description and no file that need to be attached at this stage. You are going to import your data or file. So I'm not asking to import the whole thesis at one stage, just start to break down your data into small chunks or small pieces, small parts. Try to firstly, if you do have some of the focus group or observation, some personal notes you are doing, some open-ended surveys you have been proceeding. So maybe you can link 4 or 5 pages of outputs, and you can create into small Word file in different small size and upload just to test group by group. And then you can upload more, you can link, you can create your own visual contents later. So at this first stage, I'm going to share only 3 to 4 files. I have been sharing the chapter 5 of my thesis that I was publishing. I have been sharing some random example I was creating on some of the demographic analysis. And I would like to have also 2 other files as well linked to the same. I have been creating randomly any coding for the content. Some of these documents I have been creating P1, P2, P3 might be having some coding not related completely to the content of the paper, just to check what will be linked, and the system of Nvivo is going to link automatically of what you have in these papers. So the second step, you click on this import tab, you count 1, 2, and 3. The third tab from the left, top left. And once you are clicking on file, you will have the option to insert and select your files. You can have on your desktop, on your laptop, and you can import some of the files. I advise all the time to create a specific easy name for one folder, and then you can have subfolders for different projects. So you have all in one place. And if you are starting to use Nvivo, so you are in a critical stage of your PhD or doctoral study, so I advise even to back up your data. Not only for the Nvivo is going to save automatically, and it has an automated saving option. But however, I remind you again, if you select the automated saving option, you will not be able to use the undo. The option will be disabled. So the best is to select the minimum autosave requirement at Nvivo. Each 5 minutes, they are going to pop you a browser, remind you to save. And you try as much as possible while you are working to save consistently, even each 1 minute, so you can save, click save. Just in the worst scenario you forget, it will be 5 minutes. They will pop you a reminder and you can save. So it won't be that much to lose if you forgot to save and some of the contents has been lost. But however, if you don't generate and activate this option, it will be a high risk to lose the whole data if any system low performance or any technical bugs that might happen, and you may have a high risk to lose the data. On top of that, from time to time, especially if you are using also the EndNote for the citation management tool. So EndNote will not be in a good performing way if you save it on the cloud. So never use any of the software on the cloud because it can create some corrupted files. So the data is corrupted once you are saving, especially on the cloud. But you can save an offline version of your data, and you can save and backup your EndNote library, also an offline copy, and you can save the full work of your doctoral research on at least 2 to 3 sources, different sources on the cloud. And you can have also one copy advisable in any hard disk or any external storage sources, just to be in the safe side. If any of the clouds has been any cybersecurity attacks or any damage, you have a secure backup source on that cloud. So I have the same in my PhD research. I have been storing in 3 different clouds, and I have all the time having a remote access to a couple of desktops at the university through my laptop. So I did have at least 5 to 6 different sources that I have backup. And once I was disconnecting from my university desktop because I ended my study. So I didn't miss the opportunity to keep all the data I have been working on, because I have different backup of my PhD research offline. So the third step, reading and coding. Once you are creating this first introduction, you start by the project name. Secondly, you are going to import some files, which I did here. So you can have to reading and coding. So I double-clicked on the chapter 5 file, PDF files that I have been imported. And I was scrolling randomly, highlighting the critical incident just to create some coding. Then once you are highlighting in blue like this, you can right-click, create new code, and the code is being generated, and I'll show you where it is showing after. It is showing here under the heading of coding. You can see all the codes you are having. You have to link each coding to which research question you are going to have, because if you didn't link, it will be generated. But however, it's not a panic or stress at all. So do not panic or stress at all during the whole stage of your, I can see it's like a game. So you can play very easily, very comfortably. So there is no stress at all, because if you do any mistake, you can scroll, you can just drag and change the location. If any coding, it is not done properly, just drag and insert in the right place later. Or if you realize through some tests you are performing that this coding is not convenient to be under the chapter 5 liminality. However, I'm just giving a random example. It is properly because it is including in the file. But just in case you have been performing any mistake and you need to change the coding for critical incidents to be under research question 2 or 3. So you can scroll, you can drag it and put it down. You can change the parent coding or parent thematic you are going to create, and you can change it at any stage. Let's say if I need to have some reflection So to create some nodes that will be linked by coding. So example, I couldn't sleep during the final exams, for example. You can code it under exam stress. You can highlight any content that you can find in your paper. I couldn't sleep during final, and you can drag under exam stress. So you have the category for your coding as an exam stress, and you have some other themes or concepts like the ones I was explaining in the last seminar, how to create the concept maps and to link under specific categories. So let's consider the codes will be the categories and the nodes will be a thematic or theme or concept. And you can arrange exactly. So after to have as much as you will need coding, this is the hard part because you must read all the content. Once I was implementing in my PhD research that CRM are not robotics or robotic process, or they are not robots. So I was all the time criticizing the CRM, say organizations are investing dramatically in software, especially the CRM. People has lots of misunderstanding between the CRM and the AI. And they can't understand that the CRM system must be integrated and feed from time to time by human to make sure that they are working properly, they are extracting a good outputs and good performance. It is the same. So you have to analyze your data to make sure that the automation or the system or Nvivo is performing well. So as much as you are going to feed coding for your paper or research, you are going to have an accurate determination that will be reflecting the focus points of your research, and it will be reflecting also the accuracy of the knowledge that you are going to share and contribute. So do not overcome or overlook some of the important content. Do not say I'm very exhausting tracking some of the keywords that might be linked, because the system, as much as coding and important notes you are going to put, the system is going to develop and support you dramatically to have a very accurate results. So consider good time to read, create coding, create some categories, parents group, and also you can have some child, under child parent or child subcategory, and at the end you will have a good output that you are going to have. Stage number 4. So once you have been creating the project, you have been uploading your file, no stress, you might be unable to upload all the file at one stage. Just test 2 simple or 3 simple files, no more. Take one by one. Once you are performing and analyzing the data for just one file, working, you consider that you are playing a game. Play a game for just one file and try to create the coding nodes and play back and forth. How it works if I am going to change or link to inappropriate coding, the result will be 0. The result will be 0 because the system is going to read that your coding is not matching the file you are going to import. So you are testing the accuracy of the process implemented by you. You are not testing Nvivo, because Nvivo is a very developed and very advanced software everyone is using. But you are testing your understanding about the qualitative data analysis process. So if it's not working properly and you are sure that you are coding incorrectly to align with some of the tests you would like to run, so make sure that you need much more training to have a good output by using the Nvivo. The same I'm going to link again. Any organization can purchase a very expensive software for CRM, like the Fidelio software for CRM implemented the US CRM system implemented in many of the hotels around the world in the hospitality sector. If you don't have a good training on this system, it's an excellent CRM software. So it doesn't matter if you have a very expensive software, but you don't know how to use it. If you don't know how to use it, so you are not exploring the potential of the software. The same I was sharing with some of the consultancy I have with some of the biggest organizations. I was saying the CRM are not saying mom and dad. You must have some human person responsible to make sure that all the integration in the CRM are working properly. Automation is subject to some errors because they are building the outputs on some of the human integration and inputs. I'm disregarding the biggest software because they are going through very complex process to test, analysis, updating, retesting, consulting, etc. So it's going a very long and very complex process that they do have a very minimal opportunity for mistakes. But however, I'm just talking about the simple CRM system that you are purchasing because of your capital budget capacity. You must have someone who is experienced to adapt. Is the CRM is aligned? Some of the stages of my practical and professional experience, I was in obligation to select some of the cheap CRM because it is aligned with my organization budget. However, I did have lots of manual quality control steps and process to discuss with the technical people what I need exactly. And we are running tests. Each stage of work progress, I'm running tests. Is that what I need? Yes, it is running properly. If it is not what I'm needing, so I'm adapting again, and I'm saying maybe you have a misunderstanding, or I did share, or I did express in unclear way to some of the technical people. That's why we do have errors. So all the time you need to keep into consideration, do not depend blindly on the automated system and say this is a very good software to use. However, you must run manual tests from time to time to make sure that you have a good understanding about your implications. In this first step, I want to on one of you and managing the code. So organize nodes into folders. So these are some of the coding I have. I have the parents folder here, research question 1, and I'm going to link some of the keywords or nodes or coding. I'm going to code the critical incident in some of the part of any folder just to track how many times it is repeated and how much percentage. So if it is showing here 1, because I did only including critical incident in one of the 4 folders, I do have a very minimal words just to make it easy to understand how coding is working. Because I have been including only one time critical incident, it is showing only one file is including here. So it's not a mistake. I did this intentionally. And another, I was looking for some liminality and link. So I can link intentionally inappropriately just to show if it is working properly or if it is not linked properly to some of the keywords and coding. And then you can create, consider that you do have 3 research questions. In my PhD research, I did have only 2, but consider that you do have 3, which is quite recommended only maximum 2 to 3 maximum research questions to enhance and increase the focus point of your research, to be aligned and consistent throughout the full thesis submission on maybe 3 to 4 focus points maximum. You need to have create a conceptual framework, theoretical framework, and link to the theory and the practical solutions throughout the focus points of your research. You need to show a depth into your analysis throughout specific focus points that are all aligned with the research questions you have been including. So if you are broadening your research, like many of my MBA students I'm supervising currently, good part, 6 groups for MBA in the final capstone project submission. It is linking both theoretical and academic learnings, and they must be aligned in a professional implications, also linked to some of the applied research techniques. So some of the research actually, and it's a final submission for before having the MBA, they did have research on AI. So how many hundred of thousands topic you can have in AI? Let's focus only on the cryptocurrency. We do have lots of techniques. Which sector you are going to use? Banking, stock market, where you are going to implement the cryptocurrency. So you must select. And once you are selecting your sector, where you are going to have this. So the location is missing. The scope of work, the project scope is missing. The population of the research is missing. So it's not a research. It's just everyone is saying AI. So you can't even understand what is the fourth industrial revolution. So you can't make a final research about the AI. What kind of specifications in AI, where it will be your research implemented, what are the sample or what is the sample of your population, and on which basis you have been selecting, and so on. So much more specific and focused information into your research topic will show consistency and impressive outcomes shown since reading the executive summary of your research. So it is something to consider because before proceeding to consider good time to build your qualitative analysis into the Nvivo, you must review firstly the research questions. What you need, you must have self-reflection with yourself. Just sit and brainstorm with yourself or have self-reflection. Which research I'm going to have? And you ask yourself why. And then how I'm going to implement my research. And am I able to finish on time? Am I reasonable in my time frame? And what are the mitigation plans for any risk management? This is some of the common popular questions you need to ask yourself since the beginning. Secondly, do not create a research topic more than 13 to 15 maximum words. Some of the research questions are very good, but they are 26, 30 words. It's too lengthy. People are distracting even in some very long topic. No more than 15 words. This is a maximum length for a good topic for any research. If you would like to include more, maybe you can create a small subtitle, 8 to 10 words, no more. So you can have a simple, maybe the minimum of words will have a deep reflection and a deep good readiness and intentions from the audience to go through your paper. They are exciting. They are very exciting in suspense movie to see what will be the end of this movie. So you are making some kind of academic suspense in your academic writing. But it must be clear. Maybe this researcher would like to say this. So I'm very excited to read this again, but based on what? Based on very strong, insightful executive summary you are going to create into your research to show people that you are going through an impressive work. You must include everything, and a good recommendation for all the doctoral students, do never start up with your executive summary at the beginning, because no one will be able to do that. You need to drop your thoughts, brainstorm, make your first draft, second draft, then third revision, fourth revision, in the PhD thesis, maybe fifth revision and final. And then maybe at the fourth stage of your before final revision, you can start to draft your executive summary because you are having the full thesis ready with all the data you have been gathering. You are even proceeding from some of the proofreading of your paper and thesis. So it is the best time to draft and go back to your primary executive summary that while you are proceeding to work in maybe 3 to 4 years you will be forgotten. You will forget, sorry, what you needed by the first chapter or second chapter or third chapter, or maybe you have 10 or 11 chapters in your thesis. So once you are reading the final or the before final editing or proofreadings with your supervisors, you are going to detect this is a very appropriate time to include a very impressive and concise, consistent executive summary. It will enhance your thesis access and citation, and it will show also what is including into your paper. The fifth step, and I'm going to maybe try to catch up, using a text search or run a query wizard. Once you are exploring here, you can have some tests. Before explaining this using a text search, I'm going to run some of the small pilot tests from my side just to make sure that I'm coding properly, I'm doing everything, and how it looks, some kind of matrix I'm going to have just to show the links and interlinks on a primary basic basis. It won't be final, but just step-by-step testing you can perform. So you can explore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th step. You can click on explore, you can click on maps, and you are going to select maps. The first one I'm going to show you how you find it under this map tree. And then you can create some tests about each code and nodes and how they are linked to the case study you have been created. One more, if you are inserting one of the files that is containing or including a big number of words, you can run like word frequency, choose the Explorer. You can check the word frequency. You can include what you are looking for, and you can have the word frequency for quality, for example, quality management, student satisfaction or customer satisfaction, etc. So the word is going to track all the word frequency. And even if you didn't specify, they are going to create a global general output with all the keywords that Nvivo is detecting, giving you how many frequencies they did have in your paper, how many citations they are linked to. So this is a way that I'm going even to calculate how many references including in this paper, and what is the appropriate and relevant percentage. So you can even check if your focus point is consistently done and appropriately. Let's say that this is your focus point. Once you will have the coverage in this paper is 0.16, so it is null. It is ignorable. It mustn't be, and it shouldn't be at any scenario the focus point, because the frequency of this portion is only 0.16%, the coverage into your paper you have been testing. So once you are having a high percentage, so you have been manipulating the focus point that has to be repeated. Not saying if I'm tracking the frequency of quality, it's not necessary to have quality. And I'll show you how to test here. You can see here, and I'm going to show you on the software, like you can select go up and down exact match, which I do not recommend, with steamed word or with synonym. So maybe with generalization. So I don't recommend this specifically if you would like to have some focus points. Maybe some of the synonyms will be very convenient. Like if I'm tracking the frequency of speaking, if you can find talking, it will be counted against the speaking keywords that you would like to track, because I are looking for synonyms or someone is call, it's going to be tracked, okay? Shouted, whispering, all are reflecting speech context. So if you are looking for some deep analysis, just maybe having these synonyms, and you can test them all, and you will find the most appropriate tool to what kind of research you are looking, what kind of research questions you have been drafting. I'm not generalizing, all kinds of techniques are suitable for every research. However, as I was sharing with also some of the research methodology I'm teaching at the Victorian Institute of Technology in Melbourne at Australia. So I'm sharing different techniques because you do have lots of medical research. So you do have academic database platforms that are more convenient for the medical research, like Web Science, Science Direct. So they do have much more opportunity to find articles, paper, books on what they do have, especially in the Science Direct. They do have more than 3.3 million free access open sources articles. You can imagine how dramatic is the open sources in some of the platform, including the academic database and citation management tools. You can link with this unlimited open sources data. You can have a dramatic, impressive work without having any stress about having some funds from yourself or your university to proceed for the research. The basic visualization, and I'm going to jump quickly to the live demo I'm going to have, because it's very important to link this live presentation or demonstration I'm going to have with you to understand how it works. So basic visualization, so you can have some categorization, or you can have some of the percentage for each files, etc., and you will see how they are aligned or matching each other. Have you been creating the coding cases for each codes or nodes properly, or you have been randomly done. So one important stuff that I'm going to remind you again, shall we create the coding before or after the concept maps? Consider that linking some of the nodes under the codes and creating categories and subcategories. So we need to make the coding first, like if I'm assessing liminality and marginalization, which are reflecting loneliness. So if I'm tracking frequency of liminality, I can click on the synonym here that I was referring in the previous slide with synonyms. Automatically, if you are mentioning loneliness, it's going to be counted. Again, it's the word frequency of liminality. And I feel sad without my family. It's going to be also reflected, because it's creating, you can even have some kind of specific specialization, like whispering. It is reflecting that if you are selecting specialization, it's going to detect, I feel alone because I was missing my family. It is reflecting liminalities. The system is going to detect it. The system is very smart. All this will be screened against the keywords you are going to have, but most important is that you are selecting what needs search criteria you are selecting here. So let's go to this level, this slide. So the purpose is to break down the data throughout the coding, firstly, to smaller chunks, as I was saying, and to identify and label relevant text segment to link to your research question. So I don't like to duplicate this information. And the coding will be identifying the key themes and data. Once you are clicking in any of the coding or case study, you are going to have all the contents, what are the keywords including, and you are going to draft. Is that properly linked? No, it is not properly linked. So I have to make some editing again and throughout running some small tests in many occasions that they are not convenient to many researchers because I understand how they practice. But even from my personal perspective, I recommend all researchers to run tests frequently to make sure that they didn't run any human mistakes while proceeding to the process. Okay. Also, we need to consider something psychological called the eye illusion. Eye illusion means what? If you consider that you are working in finance all day and night for 8 hours, you are looking on numbers. You might have the answer in front of you and you can see. That's why we do have some practical practices and exercise for people who are working in the finance business. Just release your eye each 1 hour for at least 10 minutes. Or if you are in any obligation to work for at least a couple of hours or 3 hours without stop, if you are stuck finding some numeric information, look for your colleagues' assistance because different eyes can see the same information very quickly. You can see here, it is in front of you, but you can't see because your focusing is exhausting. Looking on numbers and confusing, it's called eye illusion. Try to break down the load. If you would like to go for break, just save your data, make some highlighting with coloring or coding any content just to show yourself and remind yourself where it was the last part of my previous work. Maybe you will be coming back after a couple days or 3 days to continue your work, so you won't lose the focus point, and sometimes you are in obligation to wait maybe for half day to remember where I was stopping and what I was planning to do because you didn't make notes where to jump in. From my side, I was making offline notes, which page number, sorry, I have ended, and I'm highlighting into any colors, making some comment, in-text comment. This is my last point. I was looking for 1, 2, 3. Or in another case scenario, I was highlighting to say I didn't paraphrase the content of this research or extraction. So I'm making citation, I'm making the referencing, but I didn't still paraphrase. I would like to read and then paraphrase. So I'm highlighting to avoid any plagiarism, misconduct detection, and I will be back again in another time to read, paraphrase, make sure that the referencing and the in-text citation are properly done, and then I remove what I highlighted in any color just to make the work was done, and then I'm keeping on progressing at each stage. Even with your supervisor, try to make the same because your supervisor even will not be able to give you a consistent, fast feedback in the full thesis content in one shot. You are going to break down the load, each chapter, and into small chunks. I finished 10 pages from this chapter, just go and have a look on my comments, and then I'm working on the next 10 pages, and so on. It is not feasible in practical or in practice to overload students with too much content at one shot. Yes, we can integrate. So I'm going to jump this one because we don't have that much time, and we are going to share my screen now. So allow me to stop sharing the presentation, and I'm going to share my screen. Just 1 second. Yep. So let's go first step. I'm going to show you, but I'm not going to change the content of what I'm sharing, just to show you how it is reflecting, considering I want to consider some time for question and answer, and we are running out of the time. So the first step, you are going to create on file, click on file. It is opening, you can have new here. So it is opening this browser I was sharing. over here, where you can get it from the file, and you can click new project, as I was saying. Again, file, you can click new. There are different ways, but I'm going to show you just one simple way, not to confuse or having sometimes if you do have some slow connection, internet connection, it is not responding, and it is creating maybe some panic that you did something wrong. It is nothing related to rather than a poor connection or internet connection. You can create the project name. Let's consider I'm going to have Hisham Bakr. And if you would like to have some of the files that you would like to link to this project, you can browse and select which kind of file you are going to have. In my case, I'm not going to select any file. And you can keep a log of users' action, just in case you would like to come back and track what you are going to have as logs. Like the one I was doing here, you can close at any time, but however, once you are proceeding for some kind of reminder for saving or automatic saving, they are not going to save your logs unless you are clicking here, keep a log of users action. If you click next, you can have all this log. So for me, I'm not going to select this. I'm going to proceed next. Once you are proceeding next, you will have an option here. You can see auto save the project. If you select this, this will disable the undo function. I don't recommend to have, so I'm going to click no. It is shifting automatically here, display save reminders every 15 minutes. So I don't recommend 15 minutes. Actually, I do recommend 5 minutes, which is the minimum. You can go below 5 minutes. It is the minimum that you can have a reminder for the display window that will pop up to you. Can you save your file? You didn't save for 5 minutes. You click save and you are saving all the work you have been done. In qualitative research, it is very convenient because the time you are proceeding for some of the data and thinking deeply and thorough out what kind of integration and classification you're going to have, it will not be that much, especially most of the files you are going to import or some of the classifications folder or files like Excel spreadsheets are also available on a different source. You can go and upload again if you have any problem. But however, the coding and creating nodes and cases, it is very disturbing if you do not display this save reminder every 5 minutes for you to save. Okay, you can create the project, and I'm going to create the project. In my case, I have been creating this file called test. The second step I was doing is I was going to import files. Click on the third tab, import, click on file, and then select which file you are going to have from your browser. Import. I'm going to cancel because I did import, and you will find in files here the files you have been importing. Let's consider that I'm going to upload those 3 files again. So I'm going to show you a demonstration how you can do that. So I have been creating here this one. You can select Control-Alt-Shift and press on the first one, click on the first one, and then no need to press on all of them. I'm just showing you. I lost my screen, maybe because of you using Smart Key. Yeah, if you click Control-Alt-Shift, if you do have 10 files here, just press on the first one, click on the first one, press on Control or CTRL, press on the first file, go to the last file, make Control-Alt-Shift, and press the last one. They are going to select them all, and then you can open. It will be added automatically to the 3 files I have here. I have been inserting this from a different source that I didn't perform the same action for everyone, so I have been uploading the same process file and I have been gone to where it is, chapter here, and I have been uploading, and it is showing in my my folder. So once you are creating again, if you are going to import here, create a case study for each imported file. Yes, I need to create case study for each imported file. So, and then import, so it will be showing your cases here. Can you see? 1, 2, 3, 5. So I have been importing the files. I have been creating by ticking. I'll show you again, because it is very important to understand how it works. Create. Consider that I selected any file. I'm going to click. Before browsing and importing the file I would like to have, I'm going to create. Click on this one. And if you would like to have create a new classification or add to existing classification. So I have a classification called liminality and marginalization. So I can create another classification called quality assessment. I can join and link to these existing classifications I have been creating, and I will show you how you can do that, and or create a new one, and then you have to type ABC test or AB test and click import. We are going to import all this to the case study automatically. Once you finish this, you need to have something called classifications. I have been importing some manual. I didn't proceed for SPSS because it's an advanced level and need to have a good basic understanding as well about the SPSS software or IBM software. So not to create any complexity in the amazing, impressive software called Nvivo. So we would like just to explain the basic understanding about importing classification sheets or Excel spreadsheets. I have been browsing and I have been selecting one of the tests here, files that I have been integrating, and I have been opening. They are supporting file like all kind of file with these extensions that are supporting. You can find the extension and check the extension before uploading. Sometimes you are uploading any files that are not convenient, or you are trying to upload the folders instead. So try to be very careful about reading the extension files that are supported by Nvivo to be able to have a good outcome. If you don't detect this, automatically Nvivo will give you a notification that this file extension is not supported. So if they give you some similar note, you have to go and find or shift the data you have to an appropriate file extension like the Excel spreadsheet, and you will have here. So let's say I'm going to have a classification. I'm going to export again this file, Excel file. I'm going to open just to show you how it works. Next, I do have file classifications. I'm going to select case classifications. I'm going to create new attributes, update classification of existing items. So if I do have something similar, it's going to be updating the classification automatically. So in my case, I do have the same file imported previously. So it's going to update the classification of the existing file called test, which I already make a similar name to the project itself. So I'm going to make next, select as names, and then click finish. You can see you have been attributing the classification file to the files you have been importing. So now I'm going to show you how to proceed for the test file. maybe if we consider less time for the question and answer, or maybe dropping in the chat room if any convenient time, I'm going to answer. But I prefer to cover some of the practical solution as much as I can during the time we have been allocating. So the test phases is the most appropriate here. So you can create running test. So you can go explore and click on map. Just make note, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Click on Explore tab, the fifth one, and click on Map, Project Maps. So create Project Maps. It will open a new browser. So click on that, make test 10. Okay. It is opening a new browser. Add associated assets. So add new project here, just make right click, add project items, number 2 from the top. Again, add new project, you just right click, add project items, and then you can select just one file now to show you how it works. We don't like to have all of them because we won't have time actually to cover them all, but I'm going to show only one. And what I'm going to share for only one file, it will be applicable to the rest. So click on OK. It will be showing here. Right click on the file. It is already highlighted in blue, so it is already highlighted. If it is not showing this frame, blue frame, so click on it. Just one click. If you do double click, it will be opening. So just one click, right click, and click on Show Associated Items. I'll give you some small time if someone is noting. So right click, scroll down, click on Show Associated Items. Once you click on it, you can see it is opening the cases. How it works, because I have been already uploading here. Once I have been importing, I don't like to go back just to not to lose this screen. Once I was importing and clicking on file, and I was selecting those files, I have been ticking on select as cases. So they are all automatically assigned as cases. So once I was clicking here, show associated items, I can have the case coding here, and I can have this case study. So I'm making double click on P1 because this is a case study for the Word file for P1. Now I have been creating some of the content. So I want to see what is including in this file because I don't remember. I have been creating P1, but I don't remember actually what is P1. So I just double click. I have been just very few keywords here to check. I have been including quality, customer satisfaction, CRM, customer relationship management. So I want to go back here to my, so I didn't close the tab because I'll be going back and forth to test any contents. So you can click as much as you have linked case study and coding here. I'm going to go through the coding also quickly. To show. So to create a code, because I want to see you how we are creating this code. There. So right click on the case, it looks like a case. So no possibility to be confused at all. Right click, show associated items, it will be showing all this kind of attribution. Now I was linking the same Word, file, P1 file, Word file, with the case I have been creating for the same Word file. You see now, I have a reminder because I have been setting up my Nvivo software to remind me each 5 minutes. So I click yes. Even I forgot to save because I was focusing on the presentation. So this is a real case scenario you are going to face. So right click now after making some coding between the case and file, and right click. Once you click on show associated items, it will attribute the value here. And some of the Excel, you remember the Excel spreadsheet I was attaching? I was including random information about the age, quality, CRM, liminality, marginalization. Why liminality here is not showing unassigned and marginalization unassigned? Why? Because liminality, both liminality and marginalization are including in this file, not this file, this case. I have a similar file, PDF files that I have been including by importing and selecting the file and creating a case for the paper called liminality, marginalization, and mental health. So that's why I have been inserting some fake information in the Excel spreadsheet, not aligned with the P1 file, just to show you the result. This is not a mistake. This is not an error. It is showing unassigned because there is no inclusion in this paper. If I click again here, you will see, instead of clicking, I'll go, there is no liminality. So that's why it is not linked to any content. There is no paper with only 4 words, but I'm just making a simple example for you to understand. If I'm including 30 pages file, like the one I was sharing in chapter 5, it will be hard for you to understand how it works. And marginalization as well, it is unassigned. So clicking, double click on any one that is showing output. You see, it is linking. Double click on the poor quality. Double click on CRM. Yes, it is dragging some system. Sometimes it is a bit slow because I'm sharing my screen, recording, and working remotely also. So that's why maybe there is some few seconds delay. And I can have one click here. I can click on layout. I can change the layout I need as per my need. So this one I'm showing just to show you how it looks like. You can create some further integration, select the case, creating a new layout from here. You can change the look you would like. I can go again, test all kind of looks. Maybe it is something much better. So this is not someone else. I'm going to have another look, this one. So maybe it's so far not bad. And so on. You can change as much as you can. I'm going to have this directed one. I can see it's looking nice, easy, and centralize your case with some of the integration. So based on this, you can create even some charts. So we don't have, unfortunately, time to show you how we can convert this data to extract visual contents, but you have a basic visual contents, as I was promising to share. You have a basic visual content that you can understand the links between the cases you are creating, the links between the contents of coding and nodes you have been creating and how it works. And again, here in both content of nodes, I have been including because I have been eliminating from the file, Word file I has been uploading, it is showing unassigned because it didn't exist. I didn't assign any coding relating. So let's go for coding quickly because this is one I have been creating. So here on some of the coding, you can go and create, can click on code. This is the 4th step from the top left. You can click on code. You can have the code. Aggregate coding from children, because I do have a research question, coding here, research question 3, and I will have the coding. So let's say I'm going to have a critical incident like I was having here, and I can create the code, click OK, it will show in the codes here. I didn't proceed for any sentiments or any relationship type to create in my analysis. I did create 3 random research questions. 2 of them I didn't link. It is showing 0. Only one I have been linking to the chapter 5 file. And I'll be showing you very quickly how I was linking, for example, there. Let me move this one to understand well. How I was linking critical incident to chapter 5 here. So I was going to chapter 5. I'm not going to close this window, just in case anyone would like to go back and select. So I was creating some of the quick search, critical. Just click on Control and F. You can have a quick search to find quickly. You can see in one click, Control and plus the letter F, type Control plus F. You can write whatever you would like to track because you would like to highlight. I can highlight here. Right click. You can have code selection. Okay, you can click. You can link your code to the research question from here that I did. So once you are here, you are selecting this RQ1 or research question 1. I was clicking on that. It is showing under the head or parent tree. Again, another reminder for 5 minutes. That's why we are considering more than 10 minutes until now. I click save. I was selecting RQ1. It is showing critical incident, and I was making the code selection. And that's why I was linked. So unfortunately, we won't be able to cover any more content due to time constraint. We are going to finish in a few minutes. So I'm going to share back my presentation, or maybe it would be much more convenient if I can keep my screen for Nvivo, just for an open question and answer for anyone who would like to have any further clarification or specific information. We do have 10 or 11 minutes to cover until 3 p.m. Thank you so much, and I'm open to any questions to me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bakker, and for your lovely presentation. And it was very good of you to show us a live demonstration. So if anyone does have any questions for Dr. Bakker, please do write in the Q&A section below. Someone has wrote any free download of the Nvivo link.
Yes, I want to share the link. Not free download. Actually, it's a free trial for 14 days. This is unfortunately the only one I have because mostly if you don't purchase original software or through your institution, you won't be capable. There are highly restrictions like Microsoft, so you must have a license to use their software, but they can give you trial for 14 days. We can have maybe extending to 1 month maximum, but the cost is not too much expensive, around $100, I believe. You can have for a full research for ending in a couple of 3 years, so it's very convenient for a PhD research. So just I'm going to drop the link in the chat room. You can download a free trial as I was sharing, and here it is for everyone. What I can share with everyone that there is lots of tutoring videos on Nvivo. So if at any war scenario you don't have the opportunity for training available during your research, so just Google. There is lots of very good videos about the tutoring, about basic understanding for Nvivo. You do have also lots of advanced techniques if you are having a good understanding. So you have different stages for different platform for Nvivo. And if you are going to purchase genuine software for Nvivo, you are going to have also some videos provided by them to show you how to use them.
Thank you.
No
Okay, I've got a question. Does Nvivo only handle qualitative data?
As I was sharing, it is including. So let's go to the screen to show you in practice here. So I can have importing file. Sorry, I can here. They do have some kind of integration. So import. We do have classification here. So it is already integrated in your classification. So you don't need. Sorry, can you say the question again for me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does Nvivo only handle qualitative data?
Yes. Yes. It is handling both of them. Actually, it is main focus on the qualitative data, but however, by the integration with the SPSS, Nvivo is handling both quantitative and qualitative data. This is a third reminder to save. I'm going to click yes. So if you click on SPSS, it is a quantitative software developed by IBM. So if you click on this, you are exporting all kind of quantitative data you are having, and you are including in only one platform to analyze. So some of the researchers are implementing mixed techniques, both quantitative and qualitative. So you can link both of them. Maybe you can have a small part of your research quantitative. So by a basic understanding of SPSS, you can convert all this quantitative research to some of the visual content throughout graphics, and you can use also the numeric contents that you are importing to SPSS to link into your classifications. Okay. File classifications here. If we click on file classifications, you are going to show to see the Excel spreadsheet that I was sharing, and you can link all kind of numeric integration as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So another question. Can one run the PDF questionnaires for the analysis process?
Yes, we can have, maybe it's, I believe that the question is not properly fitting, but you can have some exploring here. I can show different work. We have here the PDF files that I have been, I will have some of the word frequency in this file, just to run wizard. So I can select here the segmentation I would like to have. So let's go for synonym. I didn't select anything else. So I went from Explorer, and I did select what kind of grouping I need to group this file I have been selecting, which is the PDF file for chapter file, and then I will click on Run Query. But I need to downsize here. Display word, I can select just 10. Most frequent. And minimum length, just 3. Just to allow me, like the aviation system, to detect the first 3 letters and extract all accumulated frequent words similar to each other. Run query. System is a bit slow because it is analyzing the content. You can see grouping, like just to maximize. Not possible, yeah. It is showing up. I'm going to try. You can see all similar synonyms because I was selecting synonyms, analyze, analyzed, analyzing, considered, examined. It's all reflecting some kind of analysis that are making in different. Word count is 119, the length, the weight is 1.3. And if you scroll down, you will find the full content of each category, word count, and how much percentage it is. And you can scroll as much as you can. You can even export this to analyze in a different way manually, and you can have the frequency. That's why on which basic analysis you can draft your grouping concept maps to see how it works. Maybe once you are reading the similar words frequency into your paper, you are going to align much more into your personal thoughts about how you can implement your mapping and concept mapping and coding properly. We do have a couple of minutes, so it will be fine if we can have one more question, please. If anyone else has any question.
Yeah. There are a few questions. Can Nvivo be usable during literature review?
Yes, yes, but it's an advanced technique. You can go from this import. You can see encapture here. You can link to some of the online sources, but it needs some of the practices we are not able to cover, unfortunately, in our seminar today. But you do have option to link online. You do have option to link with bibliography. You do have option to link with some of the reports here, formatted report or texted report, and it must be NVP format. So it's better to extract and import the files in PDF or Word file from here, and it will be converted automatically to NVP file on Nvivo. So you can also feel free, Christina, if you can share my email to any of the audience, just in case anyone else we are not able to cover, so they can drop me an email and I'll be very happy to answer in a convenient time.
Thank you. I just want to say the recording will be available shortly after. It will be uploaded onto the VLE, or you can send an email directly to Doctoral Studies and I can send you a link via YouTube. And if you do have any questions about it, send us an email and we can go from there.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I have to thank every one of my audience. I have to thank UNICAF for providing consistent opportunity to share any knowledge with my students and your students. So it's been a great pleasure to participate today.
Thank you, Dr. Baker.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to everyone that attended today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, I will now close this session.
Thank you.
Bye.